Let's divert some of our conversation towards some of the questions that I talked about in the intro regarding AI and how companies are dodging it and how Sam is dodging it, first of all, you know. And I'm not surprised by people dodging it, especially companies, and Sam is, but I think it is one of the most important questions that is happening now. These are now problems, and some of them are future problems. Two most important questions were asked by Cleo. Again, like I talked in that interview, you can definitely go check it out. I will link that video in the description. So too much more important question she asked that one of the question is happening right now, that is, what is AI and what is real? How are people going to recognize this, like on the internet especially? What is going to be real and what is going to be the fake? Sam answered to those questions was right and wrong in a way, you know. Like, I like how he said, how is anything real, you know. And I don't think we have talked about in this podcast, but I have seen, like, if you are a waveform podcast viewer for a long period of time, they are talking about what is a photo or what is a real photo or what is manipulated photo, what is the extent towards how the photo is being manipulated, you know, and what is actually photo and what is edited photo. So this conversation has been happening for over the past. I've been part of this conversation for like past 6 years, 6 months, I will say. So I hope if you are not in the part of conversation, I will let you know what is it actually. So when Cleo asked this question about how what is even real, what is even fake, how we are going to decide, you know, Sam's answer to that question was what is even real, you know. These cameras, like this iPhone camera that I'm shooting right now, does so many so kind of an processing for that photo, lighting, you know, tone, everything that is so much so processed. So the photo you are taking, is it even real? And yeah, he's right in that sense, but it doesn't mean that the photo that is taken and been slightly edited is same in the category of that the photo is generated totally from the AI. That is, nothing makes sense of a real world, even if it's realistic in a real place, you know. Even if it's a real place, it makes nothing sense if the photo is generated real. And if we don't know if that photo is real or not, people will start to not believe anything that is happening on the internet. And I'm not just talking limited to internet. It can get into your life, it can get into the evidence. Like, one of the biggest stuff that people talk about when Sora model was released, the model that is by OpenAI last year January, was uh, how are they going to prevent not just, like I'm saying, lookalike like celebrities or influencer or even persons, but how are they going to prevent some evidence? Like, there is no preventing someone making fake evidences. Like, how ChatGPT knows that what it is making is kind of being used as fake evidence. Like, there were so many layers to it, you know. That's why it took 1 year them to launch officially or on the internet. It definitely has some restriction towards people, obviously, but like I said, it's just the start, you know. Even the model, if this is the start of that model, it gets scary about how in next couple of years it's going to so unrealistic that people are going to forget if it's real or not. And it is happening to me right now, you know. People are talking about that bunnies videos from the internet in the in the backyard, in the trampoline on the video. But there are some videos which are so real that I feel like, you know, those jungle camps, you know, where the camera is put on the jungle, black and white, and the animal goes by. There are so many videos just like that, which is simple, not something happening extraordinary. But when I go to comment section, it is all being said it is made by AI, and that whole channel makes AI generated videos. You know, and the reason why people got it is so many minor. that at first glance you never know. So it has become so much so easier to generate AI generated slop that we talk on the internet. So things that are totally fake, things that are totally different, not as same as getting taken photo. Now we can definitely debate over what is actual real photo or what is actually not a real photo basically. Now due to this high efficiency cameras that I am recording right now, or cameras like mobile phones that are getting so better and better, you know the reason why people are having this debate over what is actually a real photo is because of a lot of processing and the involvement of Photoshop. When the Photoshop came a decade ago, I will say, you know, uh, people were making, like, it gave the power to the people to make whatever you want from their photo. You can change that photo from, uh, you can change literal person from that photo, objects from that photo. I totally photo coloring that's there. But the problem here is not we are talking about what is an edited photo. If photos are edited, are those even real photos? No, we are not even having that conversation. you know so according to the Sam's logic, if the photo is edited, and how these high processing cameras here are getting taking photos which are not even real according to him, you know which are as the same category as a photo that is totally generated from a fake pixels basically. you know Taking photos and doing Photoshop editing is a totally different thing. you know 90% of the time, like, even this video that is being processed, obviously what iPhone is trying to do at its best to give the best authentic look, it wants to give you at least in a raw file. Now you can get raw footages from your phone definitely. The reason why it does processing is because it is not as good as the DSLR cameras. Okay, that's why it has so lot of post processing even after you take photos. That's why you don't have that much kind of a control when you take photos from your phones. iPhone doesn't even have a pro camera setting. So what I'm trying to say here is ultimately making uh, saying that taking photo and editing it and making something different from it is the same category as photo that is being generated from fake, are totally different aspects. Okay, what the question of Chloe, what was the question actually is how are people gonna recognize what is AI generated or not? People know already that people who post on the internet is edited. Ultimately people who are trying to hide to make an authentic photo, we know that it is being edited. What we don't know now is that some people will post photos about something regarding something, even if their own is totally generated or fake. Now, one of the downsides of AI generated photo that I'm getting the feeling of right now, like the downside I mean by it, but the feeling I'm trying to sell here. When I see a photo, especially on, let's say, on Instagram, or I see a reel regarding something scenic, that is something so good that I got goosebumps, or that I got a shock value from how good the photo is. When I know it is real by someone taking that whole scenic shot, and I know that person has gone to that place, captured the photo and edited it and posted it. The photographer, the every photographer you can say. And same thing happens when I see a AI generated photo. Let's say same scenic shot, same scenic image, edited, well edited, and now it's AI generated. I will always assume, if I don't know, then I will always assume that the photo that has in front of me is taken by someone. That's the general idea of what a photo is. Photo is something that is taken by the person that at that moment and capture the memory of it and edited it different due to Photoshop and other stuff to make it different up according to his taste usual. So what I'm trying to say here is I will always assume that what is in front of me is real and that is in a real moment. Now, obviously, in one of those questions, two of those examples, one is already AI generated, and when I get to know that one of them is AI generated, my feelings to that photo, which is AI, totally different now. I'm like, oh, that is a cool AI generated image, but at least when I know it, when it's AI generated, I don't have the same feeling as. So what I'm trying to say here, at least from my feelings here and what people feel here, is AI generated photos, or you will say slop, whatever you are generating from AI generated is not the same as the photo that has been taken and edited. Totally different spectrums, you know. And it's just I'm talking about things like this where scenic photography is happening, something videos that has been made. I'm not even talking about stuff like uh, about how AI photos photos of celebrity look like, AI generated videos of celebrity look like are being made, you know, about how Gorg, the new AI generated from Gorg, is making their spicy mode basically is getting so much so bad is making lookalike, and even making videos of celebrities of whatever you want to make. You know, I just saw the Verge article and the video from a Verge where it where Gork has a spicy mode where it makes people naked, especially celebrities, without even asking that, without even digging too much into it. So I think it shouldn't, like, if that is the case happening openly with Gork, at least right now, and people are, and I am getting, even as a person who is in the industry, who knows tech well, who's who is talking about AI stuff here and there, I'm getting difficult to sometimes find a spot. Then what is in next couple of years, how these AI models are getting so much so stronger that we will be not be able to recognize what is actually real, what is not, and we should be able to know it, you know. And there are different solutions to it. Definitely are, you know, watermark system is there. I'm not just talking about that one watermark that is generated by AI. I'm talking about metadata. So there are a lot of stuff I have already written on my newsletter last year, how AI generated photos can be, you know, or even, you know, can be get have kind of a proof that is AI or real. So I was hoping from Sam that at least he should be talking about, you know, about how they are gonna tackle this. And when he gave the answer regarding about how everything is going to be, what is even real, I lost just my. I was just pissed about how little he thinks about this major stuff that is happening right now on the internet and will grow and more. There are some things when these AI companies do this, give these powerful tools and don't think about repercussions of it, how bad as how bad it is going to be. So I hope. Then another question was asked by Cleo regarding now is what is going to be job looking in future? What is the job spectrum if AI is kind of a new era in this? Now the question was asked brilliantly by her, you know, like about how 10 to 15 years ago we can't even imagine what kind of jobs we are doing right now. Like what I'm doing right now wasn't possible 10 to 15 years and wasn't even that kind of a resourceful job where it was. Now it has become one of the most biggest, I will say, opportunities right now in the world to make content creation, especially YouTube. Through YouTube, like YouTube is kind of a big thing now. About 10 15 years ago we didn't know these jobs would have existed, like video editors, thumbnail designers. The job of a thumbnail designer, you know, is just because of YouTube. You know how it has become more and more important, you know, thumbnail editors, thumbnail designers, editors, producers. Now even channels, YouTube channels are getting producers, executive producers. So these jobs wouldn't existed before YouTube. Like they existed, but not in this level of skill. What I'm trying to say here and what she tried to say is, I don't know what kind of, like, we couldn't imagine this kind of job existed a couple of decade ago. Now, what is going to be the jobs about going to be in next 2020, 2035, in next decade? How AI is changing the whole industry and what jobs it will be creating. Like how people are openly talking about how AI is going to take a lot of jobs, especially the first industry it is going to go is for the IT sector, which is actually building AI. So it is ironic, but the IT sector is first industry that is going to get affected by AI. So slowly, it is going to get affected, and more AI is going to incorporate in their work. But if AI is the new kind of a revolutionized technology, what is going to be the job spectrum in next decade or two? You know, and I was hoping some kind of thoughtful answers from Sam, but he was clueless regarding it. And I'm again was disappointed by his answers. He juggles, like he tries to divert those kind of questions, and he, I don't know how well they are thinking about this kind of questions, about how the job spectrum is going to look, about how you know what the problems are going to be of AI and how they are going to solve it. The now problems, the they are not even solving the problems that are happening right now. What is going to be then in the future of regarding this kind of solution? So that is big kind of a thing when Sam, one of the biggest influence Sam, one of the biggest person who is influencing the tech industry, I will say, and doesn't even know how the invention of what they are trying to make, that is AI, is going to affect the industry. I hope we should talk more about it. We should talk more about how, I think, we are talking, like I am talking, we are talking about it like for past 6 months. But I was hoping from the people who are in the stuff on daily basis, talking more about it, about in depth, about how they think the industry is going to look like in 10, 15 years. And they don't have a clue. They are just trying to be on the flow here. They don't get kind of, and they don't know what they are trying to build here. Sometimes I feel like they don't know how the repercussions of it will happen. Like I said, there are always going to be kind of an repercussions, like even Chloe talk about in that video, about in that interview, about how every revolutionize in the industry brings some kind of problems, and we miss, and we are trying to cover up this map, cover up that whole maze with new sets of solutions. So what is going to be the new problems with with this whole AI? What is going to be the new jobs with this whole new AI? We don't even know. And I think we should be talking about it more, and we should be thinking about it more. And I get so mad about how these people who are in this industry don't take this question seriously, you know and I want them to take it seriously, this kind of stuff in future. What I'm trying to say.